The moment Alex Eala stepped off the plane in Madrid, the airport erupted. Not with the usual quiet efficiency of Spanish travelers, but with the thunderous roar of thousands of Filipino fans who had traveled from across Spain just to catch a glimpse of their hero. They had come from Barcelona, from Valencia, from the Canary Islands, anywhere a train or plane could carry them. They waved Philippine flags, chanted Laban, Alex, and turned the arrivals hall into a celebration. The security team, unprepared for the chaos, scrambled to form a corridor. And at the center of it all stood a 20-year-old Filipina, her eyes wide, her hand over her heart, overwhelmed by the love of a nation that follows her everywhere. This is the Eala Effect, and Spain had never seen anything like it.
The Madrid-Barajas airport has seen its share of celebrities. Footballers, actors, politicians, all have walked through its terminal. But when Alex Eala arrived for the Mutua Madrid Open, the airport witnessed something it had never experienced before. Thousands of Filipino fans had gathered hours before her flight was scheduled to land. They came from Madrid, where a large Filipino community resides. They came from Barcelona, from Valencia, from across Spain, where over 200,000 Filipinos live and work. They came from Portugal, from France, from anywhere a train or plane could carry them. When Eala emerged from the arrivals gate, the crowd erupted. The chants of "Laban, Alex" echoed through the terminal, bouncing off the glass walls and creating a wall of noise that startled even the most seasoned travelers. The security team, which had been preparing for days, was overwhelmed. They formed a human chain, desperately trying to create a path for Eala to exit. But the crowd surged forward, phones raised, voices raised, all desperate to capture a glimpse of their hero. Eala stood frozen for a moment, her hand over her heart, her eyes scanning the sea of Philippine flags. Then she smiled, that signature smile that has become familiar to tennis fans around the world, and began making her way through the crowd, signing autographs, posing for photos, refusing to rush even as security urged her forward. The scene was captured on video and quickly went viral. Within hours, it had been viewed millions of times. Fans around the world shared the clip, marveling at the devotion of the Filipino diaspora. "She's not just a tennis player," one fan wrote. "She's a movement." Another added, "Spain has never seen anything like this. The Eala Effect has gone global." Just days before her arrival in Madrid, Alex Eala had been in Stuttgart, where 55,000 Filipino fans had transformed the Porsche Arena into a celebration of national pride. The scene had been unprecedented. Queues wrapped around the stadium, chants echoing through German streets, and a level of devotion that left even the world #1 speechless. But Stuttgart was only a preview. Madrid was something else entirely. The Mutua Madrid Open is one of the most prestigious tournaments on the WTA calendar. It attracts the biggest names in tennis: Iga Swiatek, Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, Elena Rybakina. The Caja Mágica, with its retractable roofs and state-of-the-art facilities, has hosted some of the most memorable matches in recent history. But nothing could have prepared tournament organizers for what descended upon the Spanish capital when Alex Eala's name appeared on the entry list. The airport arrival was just the beginning. The scenes that followed, outside the Caja Mágica, at the players' hotel, along the streets of Madrid, were even more extraordinary. Eala's practice session, scheduled for 10 a.m., was moved to a larger court after thousands of fans gathered outside the venue. The tournament had to hire additional security. The players' entrance was surrounded by fans holding signs, waving flags, and chanting her name. "It's like a rock concert," one tournament official told reporters. "I've been working at this tournament for 15 years. I've never seen anything like this." The Spanish media, which typically focuses on football and basketball, couldn't ignore the phenomenon.
News outlets ran segments on the Eala Effect, interviewing Filipino fans who had traveled from across the country to support their hero. "She's not just a tennis player," one fan told a local reporter. "She's our pride. She's our joy. She's the reason we believe that anything is possible."
The Caja Mágica, Madrid's state-of-the-art tennis venue, has hosted some of the biggest names in the sport. Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, Serena Williams, all have graced its courts. But when Alex Eala stepped onto the practice court, the atmosphere was unlike anything the arena had ever witnessed. Thousands of Filipino fans packed the stands, their flags waving, their voices raised in chants of "Laban, Alex," that echoed through the stadium. The energy was electric, the noise was deafening, and Eala, the 20-year-old Filipina at the center of it all, seemed to draw strength from the chaos. "I've never experienced anything like this," she said after her practice session. "The support is incredible. It makes me want to play even harder." The tournament had to adjust its scheduling to accommodate the crowds. Eala's matches were moved to the main stadium, the Manolo Santana court, to allow more fans to attend. The decision was met with approval from the Filipino community, who had traveled from across Spain to watch their hero. "This is what we've been waiting for," one fan said. "A Filipino on the biggest stage. We're not going to miss it." The Eala Effect has been building for over a year. From Melbourne to Dubai to Miami to Stuttgart, the Filipino diaspora has followed the 20-year-old Filipina wherever she goes. But in Madrid, the phenomenon reached new heights. When players come from countries like the Philippines, the stadium feels like a Davis Cup venue. People are cheering for their country, not just for one player. That was certainly true in Madrid. The fans who had traveled from across Spain were not just cheering for Eala, they were cheering for the Philippines. They were waving flags, singing songs, celebrating their heritage. And Eala, win or lose, gave back. The Spanish media, known for its focus on football and basketball, couldn't ignore the phenomenon unfolding in their capital. News outlets ran segments on the Eala Effect, interviewing Filipino fans who had traveled from across the country to support their hero. "Es incredible," one Spanish journalist said. "Nunca he visto algo así. Miles de Filipinos llenando las calles, cantando, ondeando banderas. Esto no es solo tenis, esto es un movimiento." The Spanish Tennis Federation issued a statement welcoming Eala to Madrid and expressing excitement about the energy she brings to the tournament. "Alex Eala represents everything that is great about our sport. Her passion, her dedication, and her connection with fans are an inspiration to us all." The statement was unusual. The Spanish Tennis Federation rarely comments on individual players, especially those who are not Spanish. But the Eala Effect had forced them to take notice. Local businesses also benefited from the influx of Filipino fans. Restaurants added adobo and lumpia to their menus. Hotels reported record occupancy. The Madrid Tourist Board estimated that the tournament would generate millions in economic activity. "This is good for Madrid," one business owner said. "The fans are passionate, respectful, and they spend money. We hope Alex comes back every year." Eala, for her part, remained focused on her tennis. The Mutua Madrid Open is a WTA 1000 event, one of the most important tournaments on the clay calendar. The field is stacked with top players, and every match is a battle. But she carried with her something that no opponent could match: the love of a nation that had traveled across borders to see her play. The scenes in Madrid were more than just a welcome. They were a statement. They were proof that the Eala Effect has no borders, no limits, no end in sight. From Melbourne to Dubai to Miami to Stuttgart to Madrid, the Filipino diaspora has followed Alex Eala across the globe. They have packed stadiums, crashed ticket systems, and turned tennis tournaments into celebrations of Filipino pride. And now, they have conquered Spain. For Eala, the support is both a blessing and a burden. She has spoken before about the challenges of adjusting to life under constant surveillance, about the weight of expectation, about the need to stay grounded when thousands of fans are screaming her name. "I always make it a point to be grateful," she has said repeatedly. "Coming from where I come from, I've seen some serious poverty. I've seen serious struggle. Although I haven't lived through that struggle myself, I'm able to appreciate what I have." That appreciation extends to her fans, the same fans who welcomed her to Madrid, who turned the airport into a celebration, who made even the Spanish media take notice. The clay season stretches before her: Madrid, Rome, and finally, Roland Garros. The Czech curse remains unbroken. Her record against players from the Czech Republic stands at 0-13. But she has something that no ranking can measure: the love of a nation that will follow her anywhere.
The Madrid Open will continue. The matches will be played. A champion will be crowned. But the images of Alex Eala's arrival in Spain will not be forgotten. They will be studied by tournament directors, analyzed by sports marketers, and remembered by fans as the moment the Eala Effect conquered Europe. "I'm just getting started," Eala said. "This is only the beginning." The moment Alex Eala stepped off the plane in Madrid, the airport erupted. Thousands of Filipino fans had gathered to welcome her, waving flags and chanting "Laban, Alex." The scenes were unprecedented, so chaotic that security had to form a corridor just to get her through. The Eala Effect had arrived in Spain. From the airport to the Caja Mágica, from the practice courts to the main stadium, the Filipino diaspora transformed the Mutua Madrid Open into a celebration of national pride. The Spanish media, the Tennis Federation, and local businesses all took notice. The tournament adjusted its scheduling to accommodate the crowds. Restaurants added adobo to their menus. The Madrid Tourist Board estimated millions in economic activity. For Eala, the welcome was overwhelming, but she remained focused on her tennis. The clay season stretches before her: Madrid, Rome, and finally Roland Garros. The Czech curse remains unbroken, but she has something that no ranking can measure: the love of a nation that will follow her anywhere. What do you think about the unbelievable scenes in Madrid? Have you ever seen anything like the Eala Effect? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to Rally Radar now for daily WTA news, match breakdowns, and stories that go beyond the scoreline. Because at Rally Radar, every day is match day.